Alex Pereira just tweeted out that he might be retiring from the UFC. And this is crazy news. This comes out of nowhere. Nobody saw this coming, but this tweet came out the other day, and it took everybody by surprise. So if you haven't seen the tweet yet, I will display it on the screen. But he basically says that him and the UFC are having disagreements, and it's not specified on what, but that he has thought about stepping away from fighting before, and that this is the start of that. And for any UFC fan, that is some of the worst news we could hear, because Pereira has been carrying the UFC on his back. Not just the division, but the UFC entirely. This guy fights 4 or 5 times a year. Basically, every win's a knockout. And he's a very active champ when he was champ. And he's rumored to have a rematch scheduled against Ankalaev at UFC 319 in Chicago in August of this year. Now, obviously, him retiring would be a pretty big problem for that happening. But let's dive a little bit deeper into this. So a couple months ago, you guys might remember that I made a video about Alex Pereira potentially leaving the UFC for boxing. In that video, I actually said, as much as we love Alex Pereira, it was actually a good thing that he lost his fight against Magomed Ankalaev, because he said if he won the fight that he heavily was considering going to boxing to fight Usyk, and that would just be bad. A, he would lose the boxing match to Usyk, but B, this would probably be at least a year of Alex Pereira not fighting in the UFC, and then for taking that much time off and coming back at his upper 30s, who knows if he would be the same Pereira, especially if he suffered something like a knockout to Usyk. So it ended up being a good thing that Pereira lost to Magomed Ankalaev, because it seems like we're going to see that rematch in August in Chicago, and that would be great for everybody. But then we see this tweet, and it seems like maybe Alex Pereira is actually going to leave the UFC now. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now would be a great time to do so. We're the best up-and-coming MMA channel and upload multiple times a week high-quality MMA content. If you want to join the sick community we're building, you should join now from the ground up, because that's the most fun time to join. Back to the video. But in this tweet, it was not specified what the disagreements were about, so that leaves us all to wonder, could it have been not getting a rematch or future fights on his terms? Which I don't think is the case, because it seems like he was getting about 6 months off and he was going to get the rematch, which we assume is what he wanted. He said he's wanted it, so that's not the issue. And the only really other thing you could think of is money. Are they not giving him as much money as he wants? You know, he doesn't get pay-per-view points right now because he's not a champion, but I'm sure he's still on a very good contract for all that he's done for the UFC and for how big of a star he is. But who knows? We see Jon Jones is making a lot of money, but he wants even more. And it definitely could be the case with Pereira. He doesn't strike me as that type of guy, but who knows? He might realize he only has a couple years left in the game and he wants to get as much money out of it as he can now. But wait a minute. Not all hope is lost, because Alex Pereira comes out either this morning or yesterday, and he posted a video on Instagram, I believe it was either Instagram or X, saying that this tweet was not true. He doesn't know how it came out, but he did not say that, and his account has been hacked. Now, this is great news for you, I, and everybody else. So it's like, alright, whew, that was a close one. Alex Pereira is not retiring. We still got one of the GOATs fighting. He's one of the most fun fighters to watch and very active. It is good for him to stay. But then if you look, that tweet, as of earlier today, was still up on his profile after he's already came out and said it was a hack tweet. He just still left it there. So it makes you wonder what is going on. It seems like nothing, and I like to think that it was just him being hacked since he came out and said it. But the tweet stayed up for a while, and it was a very interesting thing to see. Kind of scared UFC fans for a day there, but it looks like we are most likely in the clear. And if he left, that would really be bad for the light heavyweight division. They do have a new champion, Magomed Ankalaev, which brings new matchups to the division. And they have contenders such as Jailton Almeida, Carlos Ulberg, and Yuri Prohaska. But if you lose Alex Pereira, you're taking out one of the most entertaining fighters of all time. Gets a bunch of knockouts, superstar popularity. That would be bad for the division, and it would be bad for the UFC, but hopefully that is not the case anytime soon. But with that being said, be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below what you think about this situation. Was he hacked, or was this actually a tweet? Is he trying to send a message? And thank you for watching this far. I will see you guys in the next one. Deuces.